this is Izzy at Minerva. We're looking at sleeve fit today in our video, and we're going to be looking at what to do if your sleeve head of your sleeve is just too high. Now, if the sleeve head is too high, you've just drawn it and there's too much volume up here over the top of your sleeve, what effectively you're going to see is like lots of excess fabric up around there, and there's just going to be too much fabric in that area. The fabric will sort of be sagging over the top of the sleeve head at that point as well. So in front of me here, I've got my sleeve block. If you're working at home, you're going to want to trace over your original sleeve that you've drawn out on your dot and cross paper or your pattern drafting paper. Trace over that to start off with, because we're going to be cutting into it and making some changes. Then at the end, once you've resolved the fit of the sleeve head just being too high, then you can go back to your original block and then you can just trace over your new shape that you need for your sleeve. So you've got a nice record of the changes and alterations that you've made to your sleeve. If the sleeve head is too high, so it's this bit up here, basically what it means is we've got too much excess fabric happening in this area. It's kind of poofing out up here and there's just too much volume of fabric up at the top. So what we are going to do to start off with is to get our pattern drafting ruler, and we're going to draw a line that is perpendicular to our lovely central straight line. And we're going to make sure that this line that we draw sits above the balance point at the back here and the front over here. Next, just cut along that line. Now, the amount of volume that you need to remove from your sleeve head, you will hopefully have already pinned out so you can see the amount that you need to remove. We're just going to assume for this video that you've got 2 centimeters that you want to remove. So next, draw a line that is parallel to the cut line and is 2 centimeters offset from it. Brilliant. Now grab the top of your sleeve head and we're just going to locate it down here. Now what that does is it removes all of this volume here, 2 centimeters worth, by popping that there. I'm lining up the center of my sleeve here. Okay, next we're just going to redraw in our sleeve head and make some changes to our balance points. So we want to keep this curve up at this point here, and then we just want to draw in a nice soft curve into the front and again into the back. So using your pattern drafting ruler, just dot out where you want those curves to be and find those soft curves, both the front and the back, and then fill those lines in with a smooth curve. Once you've drawn your curves in, you'll notice that our notch points at the front and the double notch at the back are no longer sitting on the actual curve here at this point. What we need to do is to grab our tape measure and just measure that distance again and relocate those balance points onto our new sleeve head. So grab your tape measure and, working at the front first of all, measure out the distance between the base of the sleeve head and your notch point there, your balance point there. Whatever that distance is, then just shift the tape measure down onto your new line and carefully mark that point and that distance here on your new curve. So you can see it's just shifted across slightly at that point. Do the same for the back pattern piece. So this one is 8.2 and just working that along the orange line here. And there we have it. The change of the sleeve head is now complete. The line that you're going to want to follow on your block piece is this line right here. So starting under here, coming up, following our orange line over the top of the sleeve head and back down. You can see that we'll be removing this volume here. Wonderful. Now that you've altered your block, you can just transfer that change onto your original sleeve block. Don't forget to use a different coloured pencil and annotate it to say what you've done, so that when you come back to look at your blocks later on, you remember what you've done. So thank you for joining me today. Next week we'll continue with our final sleeve fit video before we move on to look at some sleeve shapes that we can make together. Thank you for joining me. I hope you really enjoyed that. If you've got any comments, please do feel free just to pop them below the video. We always love to hear from our maker community here at Minerva.